of this. I'm tired. I just got back into trucking, and y'all done raised the fuel prices so high. Are y'all? This shit don't make no sense. This don't make no fucking sense. I'm pissed. I'm pissed, and I'm going off for all of y'all. It's all of y'all fault. Dang. Like, y'all see this sign? This sign says $4.99 a gallon. This is what trucking has come to?
The conflict in the Middle East is shaking global fuel markets, and it could be a big moment for the Dangote refinery. Nigerians are feeling it. Petrol prices are high, commuters are struggling, and many drivers say stations aren't passing on lower refinery costs. Here's why. Dangote turns crude into petrol but doesn't produce crude. Nigeria still buys crude from the global market, so when prices rise, petrol costs go up. Slow distribution also keeps pump prices high even when refinery costs drop. Dangote buys crude and refines it locally, which is cheaper than buying petrol imports. With its huge capacity, it can supply Nigeria and nearby countries, making this a big moment to lower prices and stabilize fuel supply. So do you think Dangote can seize this moment and bring relief to fuel prices in Nigeria?
Oh man.
That's bullshit. All for what?
Are we great yet?
Yeah, thanks a lot. We're fucking great now. More. And you know what else too? Your meat, your groceries.
Oh yeah.
Through the roof, because guess who carries those groceries? Diesel truck drivers. They're gonna have to pay more. They're not gonna take the loss. You are. God damn it.
Prices in China are going up tonight. I saw the news this morning, so I'm heading to the gas station to refill up my...
They weren't lying, guys. It's real. People out here taking pictures. They don't even believe it. $8. $8.21. You might as well get you a horse.
The government in Kenya reassuring citizens that there are no immediate fears of a fuel shortage, but they can't make long-term guarantees because many African nations depend on imported refined petroleum from the Gulf.
These economies are small and fragile. They are dependent on those imports. So when there's a global conflict such as the one that it does, it affects these economies. And African economies also tend to recover slowly.
Africa's most advanced economy, South Africa, is one of those exposed to the oil price shocks. It is a net importer of fuel. One South African airline, FlySafair, announced it would be adding a temporary dynamic fuel surcharge after jet fuel prices rose by 70% in 1 week at South African airports. If the conflict with Iran drags on, just about everything here in Kenya and across the African continent will get more expensive, adding more pain for African consumers.
I don't understand. What happened to gas prices? 2 weeks ago, gas was $2, and today gas is $4. You guys, did gasoline go to college and come back with a master's degree in pricing? Oh my God! I came to get gas, and the pump is looking at me like a bank loan officer, asking questions like, "Say, are you ready for these financial decisions? What is going on here? Look at gas prices. What is going on here? How are we going to survive? Driving in America is now luxury. Oh my God. How are we going to survive here? How? $4? Oh my God. Oh my God. $4, guys. $4. I can't move. I can't move.
Gas is $8.21 a gallon in California right now. Actually, that was yesterday, the video I saw. I'll tag it below. So who knows what it is today? Are we great?
Every single country right now, every single country right now is literally regretting that this man is the president. Every single country right now is lamenting. Why? Because one person decided to join forces and then move straight into war with Iran. So kudos to every single country that are saying, oh, this war is actually not affecting us. It's not affecting us. We don't have anything to do with this. If it's going to affect anybody, then it's going to be the people in the US, the Israelis, and the Iran. Sorry to shock you. Indirectly or directly, it will definitely affect you. And that is why countries like Kenya, China, Nigeria, Ghana, even the European countries, and even the American countries, to be precise, are now lamenting. Who even voted this man in the first place? How did this man become the president of America? How did this man get elected? It's just a whole lot to deal with right now. Where some major countries cannot even feed, cannot even live a decent house, cannot even afford to buy gas, fuel when it is even cheaper. Talk more of now that every single day it is increasing. As of today in my country, dollar is over 1,400 and something naira, which is $1. Right now, the cost of price of fuel, because we call it fuel and I think most countries call it gas, right? The cost of fuel in my country as of today in Nigeria is over $1 per liter. And when we are talking about per liter, that is how this liter measurement, I think in the US, people call it gallon, right? I don't know, but us here will call it per liter. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, let's dive right into this video. I'll be back with commentaries. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I did not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. Let's go continue watching. I'll be back with commentaries.
See why everybody around the world complaining about gas prices? I'm just shouting for provision. Listen, I thank God for making a way. I thank God for providing. We always give the enemy credit by always complaining, by always doing what the enemy wants to do. That's complain. That's to doubt. That's to have fear. That's giving the enemy credit. What about giving God the credit? Saying, God, thank you for me being able to pull up to a gas pump and pump gas. Thank you for my arms. Thank you for my legs to be able to get out the car to pump the gas. Thank you for the car that I'm driving in to be able to put gas in. But instead, we find everything to complain about. God made a way yesterday. He'll make a way today. He'll make a way tomorrow. Quit complaining. If you have a vehicle, thank God for it. If you have finances to put fuel in your tank, thank God for it. We're forever complaining about every single thing. And you know what you're doing? You're just giving the enemy credit and discrediting what God already did for you. Be careful how you complain, because what little you have now, it can also be taken away. Quit complaining about the small things and give thanks and everything. You all be blessed.
We're cooked. 149 for gas in Canada, bro. Yeah, GG's, we're hanging it up, bro. Canada, please end this war now.
These are the crazy long gas lines in China. As you can see, this is very reminiscent of the late 1970s gas prices when Jimmy Carter was in office. This is what Donald Trump is doing. He is squeezing China's oil to cause chaos in that country. This is brilliant, and this is why we are stopping the flow of oil going into China. This right here. God, can you imagine? It's not even that bad in Florida when the hurricanes start coming.
To go somewhere expensive. Surprise!
You took me to a gas station?
Oh, come on, it was just a little joke. I got reservations at Nova.
We better end fast. We got motherfuckers putting 62 cents of gas in their tank. Times are getting tough, Trump. We gotta end that war. Come on, dude. Bro went from one block to the next block. We are so cooked.
Gas will soon be $5 a gallon. They could also bring down our country.
Gas prices are going to destroy this country.
Inflation is the worst it's been in 40 years. Gas prices are up 50%.
Those were comments from Donald Trump over the years as he warned that rising gas prices were a sign of failed leadership in the White House. Now, in 2026, Trump is back in office and gas prices are rising again. Oil prices briefly surged as the Iran war threatened global supply routes like the Strait of Hormuz. But within about a day, prices dropped sharply as markets bet the conflict could ease. Still, oil prices are well above what they were at the start of the war, and prices at the pump are significantly higher than they were just a few weeks ago. For years, Trump has argued that presidents are responsible for what Americans pay at the pump.
People are outraged. The fact is, we have nobody in the White House to protect us. This could bring down Obama, but unfortunately, it could also bring down our country. Gasoline and fuel and oil, that's really the lifeblood of the country. That's what we need to work.
Trump didn't make the comment once. He warned again and again that rising gas prices were a sign of failed leadership in Washington.
Rising gas prices will absolutely kill any movement in the economy.
Now, with oil prices climbing as the war involving Iran rattles global energy markets, Trump is responding this way. Short-term oil prices will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over. It is a very small price to pay for the U.S. and world safety and peace. Only fools would think differently. President DJT. For more than a decade, Trump argued that the price at the pump was a measure of presidential leadership. Now, that debate is unfolding again, except it's during his presidency. Reach for comment, a White House spokesperson told CNN, President Trump has been clear these are short-term disruptions and that Americans will see oil and gas prices drop rapidly again once the necessary objectives of Operation Epic Fury have been achieved and the regime's capabilities are...
So Iran's saying their plan is to make oil hit $200 a barrel. Do you have any idea the disaster that will happen to the world's economy if oil hits $200 a barrel? Because oil is not just gas in your car. Granted, gas in your car will go up too, and so will the transportation of all goods, but that's not even just it. All fertilizer today is made with oil. Fertilizer that we use to grow our foods is made out of oil. The plastics that you use for everything are made out of oil. So your cell phone, your car, your everything is going to go up in price. If oil hits $200 a barrel, it will collapse the entire world's economy, worse than the Great Depression ever hit to. $200 a barrel for oil is so insane that I don't know what will happen to the entire economy. The after effects will continue to reverberate throughout the economy for months and months. Like if they were to end this war today, we would still feel the price shocks. If they get oil to $200 a barrel, it's worse than the Great Depression.
Began and gas now is $3.49 a gallon here in South Florida in the Fort Lauderdale metro area. Donald Trump, I want to thank you for the brilliance of this war. You're going to cost the American people billions and billions and billions of dollars, not to mention the lives of American sons and daughters that won't come home. 375 million gallons of gas are sold daily, and this increase is going to cost us billions more. Gas going up 60 cents a gallon here in South Florida. That's $225 million extra the oil companies are making off of us daily. That's 375 million gallons sold. Donald Trump, you're definitely making your oil buddies rich, and you need to be called out for it. Likewise, the Republicans in the Senate that voted to stop against the War Powers Act to stop Donald Trump in this war, the Republicans own this war along with Donald Trump. If you like us being in the war, you like these high gas prices, all the economic problems, and the sons and daughters not coming back to the United States because of Donald Trump, vote differently this fall. You know who to blame. Donald Trump and the Republicans. This is their war. What do for my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cougars, and the burned out liberals? Let me know what you think. You like paying this? I sure don't. It's expensive and a waste of our money. That was unnecessary. Gas is $3.49 in South Florida, jumped 20 more cents a gallon. And today, thank you, Donald Trump, since you've done this war with Iran, gas has gone up almost 60 cents a gallon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate that.
Rest assured to the American people, the recent increase in oil and gas prices is temporary, and this operation will result in lower gas prices in the long term.
You know, that's really weird because your own Department of Energy put out a report today that said gas prices, even by the end of 2027, wouldn't return back to where they were just a couple of weeks ago. I'm just saying. So I guess I'm just curious if your own Department of Energy and your own EIA states what they stated today. Where are you getting your information from? exactly? If you're not getting it from your own experts, could it be from your energy secretary who said this morning that gas prices will return to normal within weeks, not months? The guy that is the head of this agency?
I hope you guys are ready. Gas in my area has risen about 30 cents in the last 4 days. And these prices could have been avoided had Congress simply voted to restrict the war powers of the president. But they didn't. So we can thank Congress for the high prices. We can thank Donald Trump for the high prices. And it's all because they decided they wanted to go to war. Yeah. So, buckle up, folks.
I think the cost of living in Canada has become unaffordable. The Canadian dollar's at, like, 72 cents? What are we at? It shouldn't be like this.
How are you feeling about the gas prices rising?
Not so good. Just bought a car, so I don't really like that they're going up and they're really expensive as of right now. It's just kind of sad as well why it's going up if you know the reasons for it.
Well, it's inevitable. We have all the gas we need in this country, so it could be cheaper, but it's just the way the system's set up. So
kind of ridiculous. Working for a HVAC company, we do a lot of driving, so averaging right now we're about $400 a week.
And how is it affecting your budget?
Like, the budgeting is not great. it's really expensive.
It's tough, right? Like, we're not making enough money to cover the cost for gas.
it would definitely be a better idea for people to use public transit now, I think, but just have to wait it out and see what happens.
Are you hopeful that the prices are going to get better?
Well, they have to get better. They can't stay the way they are. There's a lot of shift in this world, and this is obviously the reflection of it.
Thing that President Trump has consistently pointed to, that he says proves that his economy is the best in American history, is gas prices. But now we are seeing those gas prices soar because of this war with Iran, and Trump has completely changed his tune. When asked about these rising prices, Trump told Reuters, "I don't have any concern about it." And then he went on to say, they'll drop very rapidly when this is over, and if they rise, they rise. But this is far more important than having gasoline prices go up a little bit. Now, the problem is Trump keeps giving us a different timeline for when this thing with Iran is going to be over and those gas prices will rapidly go back down. Initially, he said this war with Iran would be over in a few days. Then he said a few weeks. Then he said 4 to 6 weeks. Then he said a month. And now, just recently, he said we'll be there as long as it takes. In fact, today, the president said this won't be over until there's unconditional surrender from Iran. Look, that could take a very long time. And in the meantime, Iran has effectively shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which transports about 20% of the global oil supply. How? Because Iran has said that any tanker that bears the flag of the United States or Israel or Europe will be targeted by missile strikes. So to get the energy flowing again, President Trump has offered U.S. military escorts through the strait for those oil tankers, though those haven't started just yet. And besides that, a lot of the global oil supply comes from the Middle East, which, of course, all those countries have basically been dragged into this war too. So what's that doing? This is what it's doing. This is a chart that tracks the oil prices per barrel in the United States. This is the price per barrel right before the strikes began. This is how they jumped right after the strikes began. And this is the price per barrel today. It's been hovering around $90, $91. That is a 37% increase in the price for a barrel of oil in just a week. And that's translating to the price you pay at the gas pump. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular today is $3.32. That is 34 cents higher than it was last week and 7 cents higher than just yesterday.
The price of fuel is currently being sold between 1,200 to 1,600, and the major reason why this is happening is because of the war that is happening in the Middle East between US and Israel against Iran. Let's talk about it. You see, this war is being very strategic because it's affecting most oil-producing and refining areas like the Strait of Hormuz, where 1/5 of the world's crude oil is being transported daily. As such, there's a reduction in the supply of crude oil, which has led to the increase in the price of crude oil per barrel. I know you're about to ask, oh, Nigeria produces crude oil, how does it affect us? The crude oil itself, the price don't go up, bam, which has also affected the crude oil product. This is not the first time something like this is happening in the world. But as Nigerians, we're usually protected by it from fuel subsidy. which gave us a leverage where the government paid most of the bills and we just paid what was left for us. But now that there's no fuel subsidy, we are actually buying petrol products at the same price or almost the same price as other countries like the US and UK, which is very, very crazy for a country that produces its own oil. Something else that is also affecting this price is that most fuel stations have actually started hoarding their fuel and selling it to third party, that's like the black market, so they can make much more money. Or some of them don't have. I don't know what's really going on, because the fuel scarcity has not really hit like that, but everyone with their own thing. And one thing that crowns the whole thing up is that fuel is of high demand in Nigeria. We need fuel not just for our cars, for our homes, our machines, schools, offices, shops. Nigeria's electric system basically runs on fuel.
May God the help also. I want to buy £20 fuel. Today I want to buy £20 fuel because I'm waiting my power carry with that. More see how many liters, £20 if you buy me. More go buy them. We are not all of us go. More go to them. More go see. Well, ultimate mayonnaise. Day 0000 now. Day 000. Look out by yourself. Show you the same. Look at more. Even past £20. Even you the shout say they don't increase fuel money for Nigeria. So you see how many liters? What do they call them? How many liters? £20 buy me. I don't even feel remember, but I don't say no reach 10 liters for £20. More change £20 to naira. More change £20 to naira, and I like I'm gonna buff you. Maybe you spend my eye to see for you. Alright, so now pay, I want to go pay. So it will be my point number 2. Alright. This war where they just a fight. Imagine now a liter of fuel for you and £1 80 something pence. All because of war where nothing consign you. If they put all of us, all of them with the fight war, if they put us, say they carry our same people, say they put all of us inside house, they put shayo, they put more day, everything there. All of us go jolly. You don't go fight one fight. So what's in them they fight for now? Only God know. So now we the suffer for here. So you will they buy 1,000 something. They bless God.
Can Nigeria and Angola help shield Africa from rising oil prices? The US-Israel war in Iran has already driven global oil prices up by about 20%. At the center of the crisis is the Strait of Hormuz, the key shipping route for around a fifth of the world's oil supply. The tensions are expected to push fuel prices higher across Africa, raising the risk of shortages, inflation, and further pressure on national currencies. African countries produce around 10 million barrels of oil per day, about 10% of global output, with Nigeria and Angola as leading producers. Nigeria's Dangote refinery, the largest in Africa, says the domestic market will not face disruptions. The 650,000 barrel per day facility in Lagos has helped Nigeria overcome long-standing fuel shortages since opening in 2024. It now supplies up to 60 million liters of petrol a day to the Nigerian market and exports around 20 million liters to other West African countries. But can it help the wider continent weather the crisis?
Of a total oil consumption in Africa of about 4 million barrels a day, the Dangote refinery represents close to 600,000 refining capacity per day. However, this won't be enough because, as we know, Africa still has a very small share of the total refining of capacity.
Angola, the second largest oil producer in sub-Saharan Africa, could also play an important role. The country produces just over 1 million barrels of crude a day and remains a key supplier to markets in Asia. After leaving OPEC in 2023 to gain more flexibility over production levels, Angola has been working to stabilize output as mature oil fields decline, while also inaugurating additional refineries in Luanda and Cabinda to increase local refining capacity to 130,000 barrels per day.
Angola in recent years also has been investing in significant refining capacity. And this crisis in the Gulf, in the Persian Gulf, in the Strait of Hormuz, will increase interest for Angola, and we start to see this.
With both Nigeria and Angola positioned along the Atlantic, they offer a more secure and reliable supply route for other African nations, avoiding Middle Eastern risk. Still, other African producers could also help ease the pressure.
Countries like Libya, despite the fact that Libya is still in conflict, is divided into basically parts with two rival governments. Countries like Algeria can also help. They also have a significant oil production. And countries, smaller producers as well as Ghana and others.
The crisis around the Strait of Hormuz highlights a deeper issue for Africa: the urgent need to diversify its energy mix and invest more into renewable energy. For more insights like this, follow our social media channels.
Okay, it's 6:57 a.m. guys. I have been seeing different gas price videos, so I wanted to check to see what the prices were. And the lowest one, I'm not sure if it's fake, the lowest one I see is $3.20. But I'd have to see it in person to know if it's legit. The other ones mainly are $3.70, $3.80. So I'm trying to debate, like, is it gonna go back down over the weekend, or is it only gonna go up? I'm thinking obviously up, but I'm like wondering if something changes, if it's gonna go back down on maybe like at least $2.90, $2.85. If not, I'm thinking of going early to get it for $3.20, but that would be the highest I've paid since COVID. And I'm not too happy about it, but I mean, if that's the lowest that we're ever gonna get for right now, then I need to, you know, I have like 3/4 of my tank, but I'm thinking my strategy is to try to get it while it's low enough, because that's what I was able to do last time. Last time I was able to get a full tank for $2.79. Can you believe that? And before he did all this, it was only $2.30, which was a complete steal. But now it's basically doubled. If it's $3.90, $3.80, it's basically doubled. So I'm sure other people that live in America are doing what I'm doing, which is you're trying to get a strategy down. I mean, I was even thinking to myself, like, you know, with the grocery shopping and all that, like normally I would just meet up with my family and just go get stuff, and now I'm like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't even take my car, because if I take my car, I may have to carpool. I mean, just to kind of get out of having to spend extra, because like I have this new gym membership now, so you know, my gym is not as close as I would like, but it's close enough. It's a little way, but it's not like it's 5 minutes. And last time I did that, I saw my tank go down significantly, and I'm not putting $4 in my tank for a full tank of gas. It's just not happening. Like, I could buy so many other things besides gas with that money, so many other things, that it's just not worth it to me. It's just not worth it to me. It's just not. So this is how my Thursday morning is starting, and I wasn't doing this shit before. And I'm just like, this whole thing is just should have never have happened. It's so sad. And this is the least of the people in the Middle East's problem. Like, the people in the Middle East who are in harm's way have so much bigger problems. Lack of food, lack of safety, losing their pets, losing their kids, losing their own life, God forbid. And we're over here being affected with the prices. And we don't know with safety too, but for now, it's mainly just the prices. So like $3.20, if I could get it for $3.20 opposed to $3.90, I would take it. but I don't know if it's like if I could find somewhere for $2.90, because let me tell you, if I can remember clearly, I think the day I got it for $2.79, everywhere else was $3.15 or $3.25, something like that. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and it was $2.79, and that's the one I told you guys about. That was a true story. That was the one I told you guys about that had the whole line behind me. There was all these cars waiting for my pump that I was in. And originally, I didn't even really, well, I don't remember what I needed or didn't need, but I remember I did a full tank. And first it was like 15, then I went back in and put another, like, I think another small amount. But whatever amount I did when I went in the shop totaled to 25 or 26 something. That was for the full tank. So what I'm saying is that was when everywhere else was already $3. Everywhere else was already $3, and I was able to that night to get it for $2.79. So I don't want to jump the gun and get gas for $3.20 when maybe a different town or a little bit farther my way, it could be only $2.90. And I think $2.90 is a steal compared to $3.80 or $3.90 or $3.70 or $3.77, because the Shell that was near where I live was $3.77, and I'm not paying that. I was like, I know I'm not paying that. I don't want to. So I didn't. But I still have a lot of gas left, so I'm just kind of like, well, yeah. But $3.20 is what Google's showing me. Google Maps, the app, is showing me, but I don't know if it's legit. I don't know. It could be a trap where they put it for $3.20, and then when you get there, it's $3.95. Who knows? The price gouging, the inflation, the lack of resources. I never worked for a gas station, so I don't know how they get down. All I know is through TikTok, people saying how they've called gas stations and the workers who work in gas stations and what they tell people. So if I've ever worked at a gas station, I feel like I have a better gauge, but I've never worked in a gas station, so I don't know how to gauge it. Is it a gimmick? Is it just marketing? Is it false advertising? I don't fucking know. But the lowest I'm willing to go, if it's the highest, is $3.20. I think maybe $3.35, okay. But my goal would be if I could pay just $3 or just $2.90, I'd be a lot happier than paying $3.80 or $3.95 or even $4. I'm not even gonna think about going in the $4s, but I'd be a lot happier if I just paid $2.90 or $2.90 or less than $2.90 today. Okay, so I'll let y'all know. I mean, this is just 7 o'clock now, and 7:04, and I'm like, because my gym is not that close, and then work, and then everything else. I'm just like, the last thing I want to do is get that tank close to E and the price shoots back up. I'd be really mad. So I can't do that. I need to figure out what am I going to do today? How can I position myself to save as much gas as possible? I mean, work is work. We can't do nothing about that. The gym is optional, but I'm paying for the gym, so I need to go. So, yeah, thanks, Trump. Thank you for being an asshole, because now we're all having to fucking pay the price. He is the worst president in American history. He is the worst. And I'm so disgusted with him and everything he does and everything he thinks. He thinks that he's not the worst. He is the worst. Easily. Alright, bye y'all. Heart the video. Follow me for all the latest, because I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna tell y'all what I paid. So if I don't need to get gas today, won't do it today, but Yeah, I'm reluctant, y'all. I'm reluctant. I don't want to see that shit hit 4. I don't even want to see that shit hit 3 fucking 90. I don't want to see it because it's like the things I could literally buy instead of buying gas is so much stuff I could get that because I know how to shop. I can shop well and I can stretch anything. So I'd rather pay that for things I want to wear and buy and handbags and stuff like that and makeup and skincare and new sheets and all this shit besides putting those good dollars to gas. The things that people are spending for gas is like a whole shopping spree in one store, or maybe even 2 or even 3. Think about that. MAGA and Trump supporters, think about that. That is fucked up. $90 in gas could get you a whole shopping spree. Oh my God. This shit is crazy.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for joining. And even when the orange man was literally saying, can we now ask for a ceasefire? Iranians are saying we are not asking for any ceasefire. You started it. We are literally going to finish this. You started it, right? We are going to finish this. Now, let's take a look at this research that I actually put before I say anything I want to say at the end of this video. Where gas or fuel or gasoline or petrol or diesel price rise in many countries, mainly because of the global economic, political supply factors. Now, the number one reason is for war and geopolitical conflicts, where conflicts in oil-producing region, especially the Middle East, can disrupt oil production and transportation, where supply routes are threatened. Global oil prices rise quickly. And we all know that right now there is war in the Middle East. There is back and forth in the Middle East. So why won't every single country be complaining? Why won't every single country be crying? Why won't every single country be affected with this? Now let's talk about the second one, where oil production cuts by major producers, where organizations like OPEC plus so many oil producing production to control supply and keep price high. Less oil in the market, meaning high fuel prices. And in different countries right now, even if they have so many oil supply in their country, because they saw that the Middle East is having issue, so what would they literally do? They will literally tell you that there is less oil supply, so let's keep rising. And you know, the ironic part or the sad part of most of these African countries is the moment the fuel price keep getting high, it will be very hard for the fuel price to now come to a lower standard. That is one of the most disadvantages of having a fuel price being raised in this part of the country that we stay, to be honest. Now, let's talk about the third one, where disruption in major oil shipping routes, where important oil routes such as the Strait of Hormuz carries a large percentage of global oil. If shipping there is disrupted, supply falls and price increases, and of which you know that right now the Strait of Hormuz is having a big crisis, like a very big crisis. So for them to even be able to transport oil right now or supply oil to different parts of the country, it is actually going to be very hard. Now let's talk the fourth one, where high global demand for fuel, which is as economy grow and people travel more, the demand of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel increases, pushing prices upward and supplies cannot keep up. The fifth one, where refinery problems or shutdown. When oil refineries close for maintenance, accidents, or regulation, less crude oil is turned into gasoline and diesel, which reduce supply and increase price. The sixth one, where we have inflation and rising production costs, where inflation increased the cost of labor, equipment, transportation, and refining, which rising the final price consumers pay at the pump. where current, which is 7th one, where current exchange rate, where oil is traded globally in the US dollars, if a country currency become weaker because the dollar importation oil become more expensive. The 8th one, where sanctions on oil producing countries, where sanctions against countries like Russia, Iran, or Venezuela reduce how much oil reach the global market, tightening supply and rising prices. Now, the 9th one, where supply chain and transportation issues, where shipping delay longer routes, port congestion, or tankers rerouting can increase transportation costs, which will increase the fuel price. And the 10th one we have, where government taxes and regulation, which many countries add fuel taxes or environmental regulations that increase the retail price of gasoline and diesel. Fuel price rise mainly when oil supply decreases, global demand increases, and geopolitical events disrupt the oil market. And of which right now we are not saying we are unaware of what is literally happening in the Middle East, especially, and we know that a lot of Strait of Hormuz were literally disrupted. So definitely people should be crying, and that is why a lot of people are angry that these men have to really start this. Because if you check one of the videos that I uploaded where obviously this man was tricked, right? Biden was tricked to fall into this war with Israel, but Biden said no to it. He said he's not going to join. He's not going to add himself to it. But we have this honorable that said he is actually advocating for peace, now bringing every single problem from the East, West, and the South. From the day one that this man literally took over, we have literally not seen anything peaceful. I'm sorry to say. Every single time is we seeing people crying east, west, north, and south, farmers lamenting, homeless people east, west, north, and south. Now, China as well raised their fuel increase, and people have to now start parking their cars just to jump into buses to go to work. We've seen also in the UK. So the European countries are also not left aside. So this is like a global thing that a lot of countries are suffering from. A lot of countries are lamenting. A lot of countries are crying. A lot of countries are saying, God, how did we even end up here? Who brought us here? Do you get? And it is quite sad. It is quite sad that even in US, as of yesterday that I was seeing, fuel prices has risen up to $8. $8. Now, if you have $15 in your hand, you have $20, you have $50, you can't even fill your tank. You can't fill your tank. So a lot of people right now will be parking their cars, jump buses, trying to meet up with work, trying to meet up with hustle, trying to meet up with a lot of things. Tell me, where won't the world regret? Where won't the world cry? Where won't the world lament? Why would the world keep clapping? It's not possible. It's not. The struggle is too much. The pains on the streets, the hardship on the streets is too much. And why are we going through all of this? We're going through all of this because one man just decided to wake up and start up war with Iran. Let me know what you think about this, and credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best, and thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me. Guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys, I love you guys.